As the JSE All Share index rose nearly 2% in early trade, halting 3 straight sessions of declines. Meanwhile, market sentiment has been boosted by monetary stimulus in China in hopes that inflationary pressures in the United States eased further in May, strengthening the case for a pause in the Fed's hiking campaign. Karl Gevers is an independent market analyst and he joins us now for a market wrap. Karl, thank you very much for your time. What's going on with the rand? Is the rally over?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dudu. I think, what's affecting the rand at the moment is, as you mentioned, there's more positive sentiment globally, and we saw our market also benefiting from that, up 2.5% at the moment, and that sort of risk on tone, driven by the expectation of milder U.S. inflation and also the economic stimulus in China that you mentioned, I think would be a driver of the benefiting the rand, so a stronger rand. Because if the inflation number looks reasonable in the US, the likelihood of rate hikes continuing there will be quite diminished, and that'll be positive for the rand. On top of that, we've had also slightly more positive sentiment locally, less load shedding, and all of that adds to the potential strengthening of the rand. So I think at 1860, I think there is probably potential for it to strengthen further.
Okay. Mining output data for April is out. Help us make sense of that. What early signal for growth does it give us for the second quarter?
Yeah, the numbers came out positive. The first positive production number in I think 14 months on a month-to-month basis. So up for April 2.3%. Obviously, that's positive for the next quarter in terms of the overall growth. However, on the other side, we've seen the mineral prices or commodity prices coming under pressure. So if one looks at the actual sales at current prices, that's down 25%. So that'll have a bit of a negative effect there.
Delta Property Fund published its results for the year ended 28 February 2023. How did they fare?
Yeah, it's been a company that's been under pressure over the last few years. They're working hard to improve their balance sheet that's been highly leveraged, and the property price is coming under pressure. So despite these efforts and a lot of property sales and planned sales, the loan to value has continued to rise from last year's 57% to currently 61.4%, and that's mainly on the back of reduction of fair value of properties. Vacancies also continue to rise, still very high at 32.9%, up from 31.3%. So these on the back of lease terminations. So continuing headwinds, selling properties in a very weak market, and we've got rising interest rates. The interest rate average up from 7.4 to 8.8. So continuing to be under pressure, but a lot of work left for management there.
So Christopher has won the first round of his case to compel Marcus Jooste to return Lanzarek Wine Estate to him. Talk us through the merits of the case and how we got here.
Yeah, so Christopher or his trust sold that property to a consortium, initially thinking it's a consortium, but it was ultimately to Marcus Jooste in exchange for Steinhoff shares. And the claim there by Christopher was that those shares were worthless, and he wants that transaction cancelled or reversed. And that was obviously contended by Marcus Jooste, but the judge there said that the merits are there for that case to be heard, and that the shares effectively currently worthless, and on the back of fraud, and basically linking Marcus Jooste and this transaction to the entire Steinhoff fraud and the misrepresentation there. So giving Christopher the opportunity to fight back and reverse that transaction and get that property back in exchange for the worthless shares.
Thank you very much. Karl Gevers is an independent market analyst for your time this afternoon.